Every single day, millions of people around the world drink this one thing before they train. They call it pre-workout. Some call it magic. One scoop before battle. Your heart starts pounding like a war drum. Your muscles begin to tremble as if they're about to explode. Your mind screams, "Train harder, lift heavier, don't stop." But what almost no one tells you is that inside that brightly colored powder might be a ticking time bomb for your brain, your heart, and your nervous system. Some people call it motivation, some call it addiction, and some people never wake up again. The real question is this: is pre-workout giving you power, or is it quietly taking it away from you day by day? Part 1. What is pre-workout, and why is everyone obsessed with it? You know that feeling, don't you? After a long day, your body is tired, your mind feels foggy, your hands don't even want to touch the weights. Then, you take one scoop. 20 minutes later, you feel like a different person. Your hands shake with excitement. Your eyes are wide open. Your heartbeat echoes in your ears. Adrenaline floods your body. Dopamine sparks in your brain. You tell yourself, "Today, I'm going to break my limits." That feeling is exactly why pre-workout is often described as the key that unlocks your superhero version. But have you ever stopped to ask what is actually flowing through your blood at that moment? Let's break it down scientifically. What's really inside pre-workout? The first and most powerful ingredient is caffeine, usually anywhere from 200 to 400 milligrams per serving. That amount directly affects your brain by blocking adenosine, the chemical responsible for making you feel tired. As a result, you feel alert, energized, almost unstoppable. But at the same time, your heart rate increases, your blood pressure rises, and your nervous system goes into overdrive. That single scoop can be equivalent to drinking 2 to 5 strong cups of coffee at once. And if you're 17 or 18 years old, your cardiovascular system may not be ready for that level of stimulation. The second common ingredient is beta-alanine. This is what causes that tingling or itching sensation on your face, neck, and arms. It stimulates peripheral nerves and gives you the illusion that something powerful is happening. While beta-alanine can improve endurance slightly when taken consistently over time, the immediate rush people feel is mostly a sensory effect, not real performance enhancement. The third group includes ingredients like creatine and citrulline malate. These compounds actually do work when used correctly, in proper doses, and taken consistently. The problem is that in many pre-workout formulas, the doses are too low to be effective long-term. This creates a dangerous illusion. You think you're training harder because the product is working, when in reality, it's mostly caffeine driving your perception. And then there's everything else. Artificial flavors, artificial colors, extremely strong sweeteners like sucralose or acesulfame potassium. In some unregulated or counterfeit products, even banned substances that have been flagged by health authorities. You start with one scoop. Then one scoop doesn't feel the same anymore. So you take 2. Your body becomes tolerant to the stimulation, but you keep using it because without it, you feel empty, unmotivated, unable to train. That's the moment pre-workout stops being a tool and starts becoming the controller. You think you're in charge, but the powder decides how you feel. Part 2. The dark side of pre-workout. Artificial power always comes with a price. Pre-workout makes you feel like a warrior, but inside your body, a silent battle is happening, and you don't realize you're losing it. High-dose caffeine is not always your friend. We tend to think caffeine is harmless. It's just coffee, right? But listen carefully. One scoop of pre-workout typically contains 200 to 400 milligrams of caffeine. That's equivalent to 3 to 5 strong coffees consumed at once. During intense training, caffeine can push your heart rate into dangerous territory. Blood pressure spikes, palpitations appear, you sweat excessively. In some cases, irregular heart rhythms occur. With long-term use, caffeine dependence develops. Sleep quality deteriorates. Chronic insomnia sets in. Stress hormones like cortisol remain elevated. Hormonal balance is disrupted. According to data summarized from large-scale reviews published around 2020, caffeine intake above 300 milligrams per day in young, otherwise healthy individuals has been associated with increased risk of heart rhythm disturbances and elevated blood pressure. Then there's the trend known as dry scooping, popularized on social media. In 2021, a well-known 20-year-old fitness influencer suffered a mild stroke shortly after consuming dry pre-workout powder without water. Her body couldn't absorb it properly. Her heart rhythm destabilized. Blood flow to the brain was temporarily reduced. And no, she wasn't weak. She was a trained fitness coach. Dry scooping delivers a sudden caffeine shock, combined with airway irritation and, in some cases, allergic reactions. It's not impressive. It's dangerous. Long-term damage is slower, but more cruel. One scoop today might help you push harder, but after years of constant stimulation, will your heart still perform the same? Will your liver still cope with constant detoxification? Certain ingredients often found in pre-workouts, such as excessive niacin, synephrine, or poorly regulated stimulants, have been linked to liver stress and nervous system overactivation. Chronic sympathetic nervous system stimulation increases the risk of anxiety, mood disorders, and depressive crashes after discontinuation. Then there's the psychological effect. Try stopping pre-workout for 1 week. If you suddenly feel weak, unmotivated, unable to train, unable to feel on, then I'm sorry to say this, but you're no longer using pre-workout. You're dependent on it. Psychologists call this performance dependency illusion. You believe that without the substance, your performance collapses, even though physically, your strength may still be there. Pre-workout can take you to the top quickly, but everything that rises too fast has the potential to fall painfully hard. Part 3. Real stories from real people who might sound just like you. Every month, I receive hundreds of messages from people who use pre-workout. Not praise. Confessions. Vu, 22 years old from Haiphong. He started using pre-workout at 19. At first, half a scoop was enough. After 1 year, he needed 2 full scoops just to feel something. Without it, he couldn't train. Then the insomnia started. His heart would race even while lying down. He thought he had heart disease. After medical evaluation, doctors told him he was experiencing caffeine dependence and stimulant overload. Physiologically, his body had adapted by increasing adenosine receptor activity. That meant he needed more caffeine for the same effect. His sympathetic nervous system stayed overactive. Stress increased. Mood regulation deteriorated. When he stopped using pre-workout, he felt useless, empty, like he lost the fire that once defined him. Lynn, 26, from Hanoi. Pre-workout helped her lose weight fast. She trained harder than ever. Then she fainted during a high-intensity session due to excessive heart rate elevation. She didn't know she had exceeded the safe caffeine limit for her body weight. Science guidelines suggest a maximum caffeine intake of 400 milligrams per day for healthy adults. For smaller or more sensitive individuals, the threshold may be closer to 200 milligrams. Some high-stimulant pre-workouts contain up to 450 or even 500 milligrams per serving, more than 5 times the caffeine in an energy drink. I don't share these stories to scare you. I share them so you know you're not alone. No one teaches us how to use pre-workouts safely, but the consequences don't care whether you were educated or not. So what's the solution? Should we quit pre-workout entirely, or is there a way to use it without destroying ourselves? Part 4. How to use pre-workout safely, keep the benefits, and remove the risks. If you've made it this far, it means you care about your body, and that's the first step to taking control. Pre-workout is not the enemy. It only becomes dangerous when you don't understand it. Start by reading the ingredient label. Never consume something when you don't know what's inside. Avoid products with proprietary blends that hide exact dosages. Avoid formulas containing banned or flagged stimulants. Be cautious with caffeine above 250 milligrams per serving. If you're new, 100 to 150 milligrams is more than enough. Excessive artificial sweeteners and dyes are unnecessary stressors on the body. Avoid using pre-workout if you've already had coffee within the last 4 hours. Avoid it if you slept less than 5 hours. Caffeine will only borrow energy and make the crash worse. Avoid it on an empty stomach. Avoid it if you have heart conditions, anxiety disorders, blood pressure issues, or are using psychiatric medications. Pre-workout is not for every session. It's a tool, not a requirement. Use cycles to prevent dependence. You cycle your training. You cycle your diet. Why not cycle your nervous system? Limit usage to 3 or 4 days per week. Avoid using it 7 days in a row. After 6 to 8 weeks of use, take a full break of 7 to 10 days to reset caffeine sensitivity. During that break, use alternatives like hydration, green tea, or simply music you love to stimulate dopamine naturally. Create natural energy before training. Listen to music that excites you. Do light cardio for 10 minutes. Try cold exposure for 3 to 5 minutes to boost norepinephrine naturally. Use deep breathing techniques, like the 4-7-8 method, to wake up your nervous system. Eat a banana with a handful of nuts 30 minutes before training to provide carbohydrates and natural dopamine support. If you need caffeine, a small black coffee with 80 to 100 milligrams is often enough. No one sells these methods because there's no profit in them, but your body recognizes what it truly needs. Pre-workout isn't evil. You just need to become the one holding the remote control, not the puppet. True strength doesn't come from a scoop of powder. It comes from discipline, sleep, nutrition, and a mind that knows how to sustain fire long-term. If pre-workout once controlled you, today can be the day you take that control back. Because real power was never in the powder. It was always in you.